Welcome to Bastard Quest. I'm the Game Bastard Kyle.
Todd.
Corey.
I'm Austin.
Today we're playing Achtung, Cthulhu. This is another arc of the Shadows of Atlantis campaign from Modiphius. Playing the 2D20 system for Achtung, Cthulhu. It's a radical good time. If you're into punching Nazis and fighting Cthulhus, and you like role-playing games, I highly recommend it. If you're not into those things, check out our other podcast, Sex Quest.
What's that about?
It's about a different thing.
Yes, I see.
Yeah. It's on the dark web.
So this is the second episode of this latest arc. So if you're just finding Bastard Quest for the first time and you're interested, go back one episode. You're welcome.
I like the name Modiphius.
It's a cool name.
If I ever had a kid, I think I'm going to name him Modiphius.
Okay.
Come on, Modi.
I don't like that.
Norse foundry Modiphius Holloman.
Be friends with my child, Beryl and Bond. Twins, they are.
Corey, who are you playing on this episode of Achtung, Cthulhu?
I'm playing Corporal Sarah Walker. She's an Australian commando, and her trusty dog, Operly, which he may be the Kwisatz Haderach. He's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
He can look back and see all the lives of the dogs before him.
That's right.
Which, honestly, it's mostly just the same stuff.
All dogs can do that.
Yeah. Austin, who are you playing?
Yeah, I'm Pierre Walsh, the Canadian rogue.
Canada known for its rogues.
Yes. Those Canadian rapscallions.
Todd, who do you got?
I'm Sven.
Yeah.
I'm Norwegian. I'm just happy to be here.
That's right.
Actually, Sven is a Norwegian rune weaver. He can wield the hammer of Thor, and yet his powers pale in comparison to Operly.
Well, he wields the hammer of Thor, an arcane spell. He doesn't have the literal hammer of Thor.
Right.
Yeah, that's a totally different thing.
Yes.
You got to send in bottle caps.
He has hammers. They just...
Hey, rune weavers can dream, can't he?
Bottle caps. Marlboro Miles.
You are in Cairo. It is 8 p.m. in the evening. The sun has set. The city is still hot, though the heat of the day is quickly giving way to the cold desert night. And you are sitting around a large, lavish oak table in the Blythe Manders house, listening to Aloysius Blythe Manders, retired British Army officer, regale you with another tale. He's sitting in a large high-back chair at the head of the table. The table's full of food. He's got an old army cap on, and he's wearing a big, heavy robe. Yes, I remember during the Great War, we were, and Jerry was coming over the top, and I said, boys, let's shoot him. And then, would you hadn't passed me another croissant, Mr. Canadian? Oh, those were not related. I would like another piece of bread.
Oh, yeah, here you go, sir.
Oh, thank you. And then he starts eating that.
Excuse me, Mr. Manders. I
Yes.
I appreciate this fine spread of foods that you have presented in front of us, but I wondered if you had any pickled herring.
Oh, and he motions towards his butler, a local Egyptian that you were introduced to as the Sheikh Janin El Rauf. He's very well dressed in a white suit with black pants and a little butler's towel. He says, yes, sir. And he sends him to look for pickled herring. He's a very good butler, so he doesn't roll his eyes, but you could tell from the look he gives, they don't have any fucking pickled herring. They're fucking Egypt.
Do you have any burritos covered in peanut butter? Operly's favorite treat.
So the butler looks at you. I will see what I can do. What is peanut butter? It is 1939 in Egypt. I'm guessing they didn't have Jiffy.
Yet?
I don't know, but it seems a very American thing to have in Egypt in 1939.
Yeah, I would like my peanuts squashed and pureed.
I am definitely confident they did not have burritos.
Well, Mr. Manders, we've certainly enjoyed being regaled with old war tales like some of the ones we've had as well. But we're a little more interested in some of your more recent endeavors.
Yes, one moment, and he lifts his leg and lets out this long, trumpeting fart that goes on entirely too long. And then he stops and says, I'm sorry, what was your name again?
I don't remember.
My name is Sven. I can tell you the story of the time I shot a cop with an arrow.
Oh, yes. What was I thinking of? Pigeons.
We were talking about some of the artifacts you'd found out in the desert.
Oh, were we? I found a tooth.
Fascinating.
Yes. And what quite a coincidence as well, because earlier that day I had lost one. So I just put the one I found in, and as God would have it, I figure it's a magic tooth because it fit perfectly.
Tell me, Mr. Manders, have you ever done any digging around Amarna?
John Amarna? No, he wouldn't let me on his property after last time.
Boys, I'm starting to think maybe we ought to talk to the butler.
The butler comes back. He has a jar of, or a can of sardines. It's on a plate and it's open. There's a fork. He says, I am sorry, Mr. Sven, but this is the best we could do.
Hey, it's fish. I'm good.
Thank you very much. Would you like more wine?
Yes.
And so he's pouring wine and he's looking at all of you very, very meaningfully, though he's not saying anything.
I think I would like some more wine, but I have very particular taste. Would it inconvenience you, Mr. Butler, if I could go with you to the wine cellar and peruse your selection?
Of course, please. I think you'll find that we have some very nice bottles from a vineyard in Argentina called the Lorab.
I see. Yeah,
Yes.
I'd love very much to take a look at that.
Can Operly take a crap in your backyard?
I'll get a servant to tidy after him.
Blessings.
So he summons a man to take Operly out for Boom Boom. And then he leads Pierre to the wine cellar.
Sven is just shoving sardines into his face.
Yeah. I saw a sardine once. I was spelunking in the North Sea. Actually, I was drunk and I fell off a boat. But it's the same thing.
It's absolutely fascinating. You know, this one time back in Norway, I hung members of the Black Sun from trees.
Oh, very nice. What kind of trees?
Hey, they call that a Norwegian Christmas.
Oh, I was at Christmas in Norway one time.
Yes.
Got tetanus.
You guys remember the duck aside we took in Warcraft?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the basement, there's a very well-stocked wine cellar.
Fantastic.
Does Pierre know anything about wine?
Sure, yeah. He knows enough to be able to hold conversation.
The Egyptian butler, he's a middle-aged man, very well-kept, hair and mustache. He looks at you, bow slightly. I am Lorab. I've been in contact with your majestic office.
It's nice to meet you, Mr. Lorab. Well done making contact. What do you have for us?
Well, we were tracking the Nachtwolf as they excavated around Amarna. We didn't know why, but after communicating this back, it seems Dr. Padden believes they were looking for something called the Life Giver.
Yeah, the Golden Sun Disc.
Yes. Well, through some of my local resources, if you can believe this, we think the Nazis were digging in the wrong place.
You don't say.
Shocking, I know.
This calls for some dates.
You go to the date pantry, it's just dead monkeys littering the floor.
But I have been assured that there is a way to determine the correct location where one should look for this Life Giver artifact.
All right.
Now, I know you're from the West, and this might come as something of a shock, but we may need to use a magical ritual to find it.
Do you mean the metric system?
No. You recall, the British are in charge of our country right now. So might I interest you in some pounds and leagues?
I don't want to get into this.
I know of a ritual that might give us the information we need, if you are willing to undertake it.
Yeah, I may have a friend or two that at least has some knowledge of those kind of practices.
Very well. Entertain Blythe Manders, but at midnight, in the well in the courtyard, we will conduct a ceremony that may point the way.
I'll pass along the message.
Thank you. Also, this bottle of port is very fine, if you would care to take that.
Oh, yes, I particularly like that. Is that from Portugal?
Of course.
Pierre, the great conversationalist.
Wonderful.
So, the two of you return to the dinner.
In the end, I used a magical spell to take care of my tetanus after I was wrestling that she lion.
Oh, yes. She lion. I've wrestled many a she lion.
Wait, is he saying sea lion? Or
Yes.
she? Okay.
Yeah.
Blythe Manders believes it's a she. They're talking about she lions.
Right.
The Lady Augusta Winters. A lot of she lion in her.
Oh, the she lion I was wrestling was called Flappy.
Oh, common woman.
I feel like Sven needs his own Operly, and it's the Flappy the sea lion.
somewhere far to the north,
Psychically.
amidst the ice and snow, a sea lion looks up from where he's laying.
Shred, I've been summoned. Teleports.
No, he's got to swim.
Yeah,
So he just starts swimming.
He's not psychic. He has the power of omnipotency.
Oh, okay.
It's Cthulhu trapped in a sea lion body. So, Austin, I'm assuming that Pierre communicates to the rest of the team, because you guys can talk psychically because of Operly. Remember that.
If Operly links us.
Yeah, I would imagine we have some sort of like protocol signal to be able to always say like, "Hey, we got to communicate non-verbally for a minute."
It's a wink.
No, Sarah shouts, "Psychic link!"
I was going to say, it would be, with your characters, it would just be just...
And it's any one of the team members kind of standing up and very obtrusively shouting, "I have thoughts."
So Blythe Manders, all right, let me tell you about my time in Calcutta with syphilis.
No, thank you.
So you guys established a psychic link.
All right, you guys. The butler's Lorab, and we need to perform this magic ritual down by the well at midnight in order to find out where the Nazis were actually needing to dig.
Okay.
Sven is very excited about the use of magics.
Yeah, I figured you might know a little something about that. I told the butler you would, so, study up.
Wells are dangerous.
They are. We won't fall down this one, though.
Openly is spoken.
All right, so are you guys going to try to do anything until midnight, or do you just want to cut to your meeting with Aruf?
Yeah, I think we just drink some port and enjoy some more food, and then wait until.
Because Blythe Manders is completely too oblivious to anything that's actually going on.
Yeah. While we're entertaining and, cavorting at dinner and around the house and such and things like that, does he have a trophy room where we could
he does
take a look? If we could convince him to at least show off some of his trophies and stuff like that, maybe he has some maps of the area where we could at least further familiarize ourselves with the territory.
Yeah, his house is 3 levels, and one of them is basically just full of artifacts and curiosities that he's collected from various parts of the British Empire and foreign peoples.
It's a bunch of stuffed animal heads, but it's all cats.
Definitely things he didn't.
Well done, my friend. Your quarry is impressive.
So he's happy to take you through the antiques. He has one of the servants wheel him around on a little chair.
Okay.
He's in good health. He just doesn't want to walk.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with him. I found this in a gutter in Cairo. I'm kidding. I bought it from a man. So anybody who's interested, if you have knowledge in antiquities, you can make an Insight plus Academia history test.
So I have a focus in occultism, but I don't think he has any of those related artifacts, correct?
Well, you'd be able to see if there were one.
Yeah, you can try.
Sven has a 5 in academia with a focus in both history and occultism.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, that's you make that roll.
My academia combined with my insight gives me a target number of 15, and I have focuses, so my crit range is 5 or below. I rolled 2 20s.
Jesus.
Wow.
Means you got 20/20 vision. He sees the glowing orb.
But wait, I did roll a 6 on the Marvel die.
So you're going to take 2 stress. And remember, in Achtung Cthulhu, stress and hit points are basically the same thing. There's only one track.
So there's not like some Cthulhu games, you got mental stress and physical.
No. Well, also Conan 2D20 has 2 different tracks, right? It has like wounds and stress, I think.
That's
so.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now, we do have a track for injuries, but that's something different.
If I recall correctly, if you take a certain number of stress in one hit, it causes an injury.
Right.
And if you take max stress, it causes an injury. And if you get 3 injuries, you die.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yours is from being drunk. Because there's a servant following you guys around the entire time you're going through these antiquities, which are all very interesting, but none of them are particularly related to the occult. There's some things from Amarna about the same time as the DOG, the Deutsche Orientgesellschaft, was digging there, which is where they found the Blackstone, supposedly. But nothing that you guys haven't seen before, or that is really anything more than curiosities about that particular time in Egyptian history.
I love that Ty got hurt on a pointless roll.
I mean, there's nothing like a drunk Norwegian.
He just got hurt by looking at shit.
Right?
So By the time midnight rolls around and Blythe Manders goes to his study to finish off a bottle of cognac,
Sven has taken 5 more damage.
Wait, is he taking damage, or across the world has Flappy been attacked by a seal?
the three of you are standing out in the garden of the Blythe Manders house, which is very well kept, and there is this circular stone well in the garden. Looks very old, and the butler Aruf is standing beside it. Sven is out of his mind drunk, by the way, just gone, completely hammered.
Great.
He's just firing off random spells into the air.
Vinvadium Leviosa.
The full moon is out. Everything is bathed in this silver light. You can see quite well. The well itself is perfectly still, and beside there's a small table, a metal table, like a circular, like outdoor, table with the mesh. And there's a mortar and pestle, some very blue lotus flowers. He takes those and he starts grinding them in the pestle and mixing them with some oil. He says, "I'm going to send you on a vision. Hopefully you will see the way forward."
Will I be able to see Flappy?
He looks questioningly at Pierre.
You were good. Just tell us what we need to do.
We cut to a sea lion dance number.
The
Flappy feet.
Also directed by George Miller.
Yes.
The ancient Egyptians had many secrets, and we believe the Atlanteans taught them many more. Hopefully what you see will guide you accurately.
So is this compound we're going to be, I assume we're going to have to ingest that.
Yes.
Is that something that's from Atlantean origin?
I'm not sure of the origin of the blue lotus flower that creates the vision.
Is it dog friendly?
He looks at you, looks at Operly, and shrugs.
I quite enjoy eating plants. Sometimes it makes my boom boom watery.
He says, but this is the Well of Stars, and he gestures to the well, and it may show you the doorway to the Duat.
The doorway to the do what now?
Duat. The underworld.
Austin's very happy with himself.
He's entirely too pleased. Which of you has the highest academia score?
I think that'd be the drunk one over there.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah, I got a 5.
No, I do have a 3, but
It is Todd. Todd, you do have the highest academia.
Yep.
He opens a pouch and takes out a long, fluffy feather. It's an ostrich feather. He hands it to you and gestures for the three of you to sit by the well and gives you each a small shot glass, basically, of the blue liquid and gestures for you to kneel near the pool. And he begins chanting magical words low under his breath and makes a swirling motion with his hand while looking at Sven as if to say, that's what you should do with the feather.
Sven is drunk, but he can swirl a feather.
famous last words. So do we just all drink it at the same time?
That's up to you.
Okay. Guys, you good?
Yep.
Bottoms up.
I drink it.
You feel as if nothing happens when you drink it. It's not unpleasant. It doesn't have much taste.
Hold on, Operly's still lapping.
Sven makes a swirling motion with the ostrich feather, and if anything, the well becomes even more still, and then a picture begins to resolve itself.
For just Sven, or is this for all of us?
For all of you.
Okay.
You see a massive sandstone facade supported by 6 pillars. Each of the pillars contains the carved head of a woman with a cow's ears. This is somewhere in the deep desert. Any of you can make a reason plus academia history test to try to discern who this figure is.
Okay. Now, Sven is the one with both a high skill in academia and a focus in history. But I do have a 3 in academia. Kyle, can I assist with this at all?
Yeah, you can. You can
Okay.
roll a d20 to assist. Sven's test is going to be harder than the other guys because he's drunk.
Yeah. So that's going to be my insight in academia, which is going to be a total target number of 14. That's a 10.
Okay, Todd. So as long as you get a success on your roll, you'll get to count Austin's.
All right. Target number 15. Crit range is 5 and below. I rolled a 1.
That's
Nice.
better.
So you got 3 successes in total. You only need 2. You guys can bank a momentum if you wish.
Okay.
Sweet.
So Sven and Pierre recognize this is the Egyptian goddess Hathor, or at least statues of her. Obviously, it's not the real Hathor. She lives in Pasadena. No.
Sven is reminded of a girl he went to high school with who has cow ears. Her name was Beatrice.
So then the image shifts to the ruins of a building beside what is undoubtedly a temple, and as the agents watch, the ground splits open and the sun begins to rise through the crack in the stone flagging, blinding them. And you know without knowing that wherever you must go to this temple, not to find the sun disk, because the sun disk is not on this plane, but to enter the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, and retrieve it from there.
All right.
Which, I mean, it's not, you get the impression, you're not going to walk through a magic portal. You're going to do some sort of magical ceremony and be transported there metaphysically.
Gotcha.
So the water stills again, and now you sense things have been returned to normal. You see the moon and your own reflections, and Al-Ruf is sitting in a chair nearby, dozing. In the east, the sun is just starting to rise.
So Pierre stirs him awake and lets him know they have what they need.
Well, good. Did it work? You all were staring like zombies, so I thought I would just take a little nap.
We were tripping balls.
I'll take that as a good thing.
You should try that shit sometime.
We know where we have to go. Would you like to come with us? This seems like a shit job, really.
Actually, there are a number of artifacts in Blythe Mander's collection that I have the duty of protecting.
I see.
It is quite dangerous, which is why we ensured that it went into the hands of someone who had no idea of their true power.
Could I get some of that lotus juice to take with me? Because it took care of my drunkenness and my hangover at the same time.
I don't know that was the flower or that you were in the trance for 7 hours.
All right. Well, we'll be on our way.
Good luck, my friends.
And good luck to you.
May God be with you.
He's always with me. I love him.
Are you speaking into Al-Ruf's? Is Operly speaking into Al-Ruf's head?
Oh, yeah. He likes the name Al-Ruf because it sounds like a bark.
And he says back, they warned me of you. I have never talked to a dog, though I do like dogs.
Then get to belly scratching.
Would you like the thigh bone of a cow?
Operly abandoned Sarah entirely.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Meet me behind the kitchens in 10 minutes.
I'm actually kind of hungry for cow ear.
I'll see what we have. So, not long after the four of you depart the Blythe Mander's house, after doing some cursory research, and Pierre knows enough about Egyptology to know where he needs to go, it's outside of Amarna. It's a very significant dig site. Though, as Al-Ruf said, quite far from where the Nazis were excavating and exploring.
Do we know who's digging there? Is it the Egyptians or...
As of right now, you're not sure. You could always check, but most of the archaeological expeditions in Egypt this time have ceased because of the war.
Yeah.
Turns out a lot of archaeologists, British and German, were either recalled for various reasons or going into the military.
Yeah. So we know if anybody's digging out there, it's going to be Nazis, but we're pretty sure they don't know about this.
Could be Canadians.
That's possible.
Famous Canadian archaeologists.
We're capable of anything. You never know what we might get up to.
Kyle Schven is going to use his bizarre insight. Once per scene, I can generate a threat, and I can obtain information by asking you a question.
Okay.
So take a threat.
I'll happily take one.
Who is digging at that site?
It's just a bunch of dogs. And Flappy? What the hell?
From the news clippings that Sven has studied of the local papers over the past week and updated Majestic intelligence reports, you don't think anybody is digging there right now.
Oh, all right. Nice. Cool.
Not mentioned in Digging Weekly. Got it.
Nope.
So then we know where we're going. The only major question to be answered is if we need to do any prior research on what it is that we're actually supposed to do.
Well, and also, Kyle, can we go to Major Cole? I know usually in these games we can get some gear and equipment and
Sure.
guns and shit. Can we do that before we go out there?
You can go to Major Cole or you can go to Mossy Pete.
Now, granted, he's still just sitting in his plane.
Yes.
The only weapons he has is like a switch.
Mossy Pete has extensive connections to Cairo's underworld.
I would
Oh, okay.
imagine.
He's a redneck.
Yeah, whichever one's better.
I know which one I prefer.
Okay, let's go to Mossy Pete.
Hooray!
You just want to do the voice.
Yeah. So you do find Mossy Pete in his junked DC-3 cargo plane. He's washing the bloodstains out of it after flying you guys here. What? I thought I'd never get that man's spleen out of this floor grating.
Are you going to eat that?
Yeah. No. He tosses it to Operly.
He wolfs it down.
Operly now owns that man's soul.
That's right.
What do you fellas need? Nah, old Jessica ain't gonna be flying anytime soon.
Well, do you have any archaeology kits, like digging tools?
Mossy Pete scratches his thick beard, shrugs at his coveralls. I got a hammer. Well, I don't know what's archaeology.
Mr. Mossy Pete, could you perhaps point us in the direction of someone who could get us equipment for an archaeological dig and perhaps some weapons?
Yeah. Mossy Pete takes you to a tavern in Cairo called the McLean, run by a man named the Chief. He's a large, hairy, Egyptian-Italian man who got the hair of both. He's basically a Wookiee. He's behind a counter. There's no one drinking. There's 2 ceiling fans just turning very lazily, as is the cliche in any place in the Middle East.
Of course, that's the
during this
first
period.
shot of the scene.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you bringing these people around here, Mossy Pete? That's my redneck Egyptian voice.
Egyptian Italian accent.
I definitely could detect the Italian in that.
Yeah.
4 shots of lotus juice, please.
He looks at Mossy Pete. Mossy Pete, I don't know what they're talking about. I just give them some malort.
Oh,
We'll take guns, too.
and some digging equipment.
I got guns and directions to a hardware store. So, out of character, what are you guys looking for? What sort of guns are you looking for? What sort of equipment?
Do we have any guns on us?
I
I assume
assume-
we do, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've still got my 45, my Trank gun, and my Thompson.
Well, I'd say unless there's any, like, Egypt-specific weaponry we should get, we probably don't need guns, but definitely digging equipment, ropes, those kind of things.
Well, I definitely don't have some things that I may have confiscated. You know, what fell off the back of a truck that the British Army had.
We'll take it.
Okay, so he has a few pieces of heavy equipment that you might be interested in. He has the Boys anti-tank rifle,
Oh.
the Life Buoy portable flamethrower number 2 Mark II,
Oh, hello.
or the Piat anti-tank weapon.
I'm thinking flamethrower.
Yeah, flamethrower. And we can just share it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take it on
Put it on
Mondays,
Oberle's back.
Thursdays, every other Friday.
He also has Mills bombs and tire busters and some other explosives, but mainly the flamethrower.
Yeah.
Yeah, flamethrower.
Now, be careful with this, because this spews flame.
I see.
Okay.
It's hot.
It will burn you.
All right, so we've looked through the crates in the back. Sven has taken a flamethrower. Pierre has taken 3 charges of C4.
Was there digging stuff in there?
He gives you 2 shovels.
Okay.
Yeah, the C4, Corey.
Oh, I see. Was there rope and stuff? We might have to shimmy somewhere.
Yeah, he outfits rogue archaeology teams all the time.
Okay.
So you guys are stocking up gear at the McLean Tavern for most of the rest of the day, packing stuff up in crates, because you're going to have to get a truck and drive a number of hours to get to your destination.
Okay.
So once when Operly goes out to go potty, Corey, Operly needs to make an insight and observation
Okay.
check.
His insight is 11. His observation is 3. He does have a focus in smell and taste. I don't know if I'm smelling or tasting.
Neither of those will apply in this
Okay.
case.
Target number 14.
Your difficulty is 3.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. We've got momentum, Corey.
Yeah, I'm going to use a momentum. 9, a 4, and a 10, so 3.
Nice.
So Operly is in an alley behind the tavern. The sun is in the west, the alley is in shadow, and at the far end of the alley, actually across the street that the alley intersects, is a man. He's short, bald, with Asiatic features in a sapphire blue robe, watching Operly. And you've seen no one that looks like this in Cairo, because you're in Egypt. There's not a lot of Asian-looking people in Egypt in 1939. And this man is unmistakably, specifically looking at Operly, and not with the sort of gaze that's like, oh, hey, that's a dog. No, this man is watching.
So Operly's singing the song he sings when he's going potty.
I'm going parties like a good boy, good boy.
When he notices the robed man, and he kind of like jerks, like bird dog like, and like lowers his neck and gazes at the guy, and he's going to use thought sending. That essentially like links the two of us. Like he can respond to me and I can talk to him through dog brain.
Sure.
It's difficulty 1, will and observation check. Will is 10, observation is 3. It's 18 and a 4, so 1 success. So he does establish a link.
Greetings, robed Asian man. I can tell by your demeanor you have realized I'm a psychic dog.
The man does not respond directly to Operly. He begins muttering words that Operly does not recognize, but that he knows are magic. And then there's this lurch that Oberly senses more than actually feels, and he is pushed out of the man's mind. And then, spending threat for all the bullshit magic this guy's doing, there's a swirl. The fabric, sapphire blue, twists around the man, and he is gone. Oberly smells the same sort of scent that he did when he was in the Mexican apothecary bookshop in Vienna. Not the same sort of personal scent.
But to say, I think that old man smelled like piss in that place.
He did.
Okay.
But the same sort of otherworldly, supernatural smell, as if the powers that both of these humans he's encountered were drawing from the same source. You know, put two and two together, that this man in the sapphire blue robes was a practitioner of Yog-Sothoth.
Yeah, because the old piss man in Vienna told him that he worships Yog.
Yes, but I will go ahead and tell you that those two characters are not necessarily connected. Like the guy, the Mexican apothecary in Vienna, has nothing to do with.
Yeah, this is just another cultist.
Yes, they do not know each other. I don't want you to go down that red herring rabbit hole,
Right,
so to
right.
speak.
Because we would.
Well,
Yes.
well, yeah, it's basically the guy in Vienna was like Catholic Yog.
Yeah.
This guy's Baptist Yog.
Oh, no,
So
he's
much more dangerous.
This guy's Church of Christ, y'all.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Man.
Non-denominational Yog.
Oh, God. Yeah, no music at their rituals.
But the magic that the man was using derived from Yog-Sothoth.
Okay.
But he is gone now.
Okay. Oberly returns to the squad and tells them of what he saw.
Sven is polishing the flamethrower.
Yes.
With the only thing at his disposal, gasoline.
We're not alone in Egypt. I just saw a Yog man.
Well, then we'll have to be careful if somebody already knows we're here. Where'd he go?
I don't know, but he was wearing a gray robe. Be on the lookout.
I wonder if I can use magic on this flame floor and make the flames hurt more when I burn someone.
Flames are pretty hurty already.
Can I make them more burny?
Yes.
I mean, I'm going to say yes. I don't know how we'll do it, but we'll figure it out together.
All right, well, then I propose we go ahead and try to make our way out under the cover of darkness.
We need transportations.
Yeah, we can find it somewhere.
We just need to be wary and watch out for this gent.
You guys can pretty easily get a truck from Major Cole at the British Army base.
Okay.
Who's driving?
Oberly.
Yeah, Pierre can drive. Before we leave off, Kyle, I don't know if we'll have to do extra reading on this, but could one of us make an academia roll to see how much we already know about the deity Hathor in Egyptian lore?
You absolutely can.
Okay. Sven, do you want to help out on that? Or
I will assist.
Actually, you've got a focus in history.
Yeah.
Should
Yep.
I help you?
Sure.
Okay. So that'll be insight and academia again. Target number 14. Let me roll that first. Oh, I rolled a 1.
Nice. You're helping him you got him by the shoulders. Think, man, think! Thor.
Thor.
It's cousin to Thor. He should know her.
He knows a lot.
It's just a funny Thor.
Once again, target number 15.
Okay.
1 success, rolled an 11.
Okay.
So that's a total of 3 successes.
So you just need one. So if you want to bank a momentum, you can.
Okay.
But Hathor was a major goddess in ancient Egyptian religion. So she was the mother, or depending on when in Egyptian history, the consort of Horus and the sun god Ra. Both were connected to kingship, thus the pharaohs, and the symbolic mother of their earthly representatives. One of several goddesses who acted as the eye of Ra. And there are a number of significant temples to Hathor at this time in Egypt that were major sites for excavation.
All right. So that would make a lot of sense then. Ra is the sun god. So if Hathor was one of the consorts, it makes sense if she was the eye of that god.
Could be the relation.
Yeah, she's pretty much just Shmi Skywalker.
You head out early the next morning in a lorry that you get from the British Army. For those of us in America, that means truck. Loaded with your gear.
In Australia, we call them a bing bong. We're weird down there.
And the flamethrower. You drive through the desert south along the rail line, heading to a location you know has a major temple of Hathor called Kenna.
Sven is sleeping in the back of the truck, cuddling his flamethrower.
Look at him. Just having flappy little dreams.
It looks like he's running.
And as the day wears on, you figure you're about an hour out from Kenna. You top a hill, and at the bottom, there's a man in business clothes, though the coat's off and his shirt's unbuttoned, and he's waving at traffic. You see a car whiz by him, and then he sees you guys, and he's waving, trying to wave you down to get to stop, and you can see there's a broken down truck not too far from him, and a woman in a very nice red dress leaning out the side. He shouts, "Please stop, please."
We must help this woman in the gray dress.
Do you guys stop to help these stranded travelers?
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, no danger whatsoever. It's just, we'll probably just get some momentum for helping.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a thing that could theoretically happen.
Just for being good Samaritans.
Anything's possible. Well, Pierre's driving, I assume.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm stopping. What do you guys think?
I think if they need help, then we can provide help to them. If it is some sort of trap, I has a flamethrower.
I think you should continue driving this rolling horse.
Which is what dogs call trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep on driving. If we know that somebody's already been spying on us, this could be an ambush.
So any of you can make an insight plus observation test. Though I'm going to say Oberly and Sven are in the back, right?
Yeah.
So really only Sarah and Pierre would be seeing this.
So I can make an insight and observation test. I'm decent. I've got 11 insight and observation of 3.
Can Sarah help?
Yeah, she's Australian.
Yeah.
They have eyes.
It's true.
Just one, though.
That they share.
Some weird evolutionary thing that happened.
For some reason, all Australians' eyes can bulge out of their sockets, like in Mad Max.
It does happen quite often in those movies.
George Miller's a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Pierre, look, she says. That's target 11 for Sarah. That's a 19.
Oh, okay.
Those are people.
She's looking backwards at the truck.
All right, target number 14.
I recognize him as human.
13 and a 2, so 2 successes.
The man bears a striking resemblance to pictures you've seen, because remember, you've never really met him in person, to Professor James Fitzlewis Hamlin.
Is that the resurrected guy?
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Then that may mean the woman in the red dress is the Italian archaeologist Sabina Aloia, who we know was working with the Knockwolf. We've seen her.
Okay.
We witnessed her leaving that prison camp with not only the seemingly dead Hamlin, but also an as yet unknown to Pierre, but Roscoff Smythe.
Now, part of what you're saying is true. However, because I just listened to the previous episode, the person that actually saw her was Sven.
Ah, okay.
Because at the time, Sarah and Pierre were skulking around the back to break into that prison camp.
Okay.
So, well, first off, Austin, I assume you're not stopping.
No.
Or we could drive into them.
Solve this problem altogether.
That's an option.
And then Sven can burn the bodies with the flamethrower. I like it.
Perfect.
Yeah, I don't think we're stopping. Because so Kyle, tell me if this reasoning would be sound. We know for a fact that Hamlin is dead. So
you know he's dead.
Yeah, and we know the Nazis stole his body.
Yes.
And Pierre does recognize him from pictures, so he knows at least one of these people.
And I'm pretty sure you guys you saw him in Rome because he was with the Nachtwolf guys that were trying to get trying to fight the Serpent Men to get to the other artifact.
That's correct.
Wouldn't it make sense that Sven would have told them about the lady he saw?
So that's what I was about to say.
No, not that they would recognize him, but
no, you know that. They know that.
I am
that
at least
person
aware
exists.
of that archaeologist's presence.
Correct.
And trucks at this time have a max speed of 12, so he has plenty of time to really scrutinize.
All of this is going through my head. We're still a mile off. So I don't think we're stopping. Analysis of the situation, Kyle. How possible is it to possibly see if we can stop and pick up Hamlin, who we can easily manage, and leave the archaeologist where she is?
I mean, she's 20 feet away from him in the car. Whether or not it would be easy to stop and kidnap zombie Hamlin, I don't know.
Yeah, so I think maybe we just don't risk it. We don't know who all's in that truck either. It's
a car. I
it is
may
a
have
car?
said truck, but it's a car. It's one of those with the fabric back So there's not a squad of Noctwolf troopers in the vehicle.
Okay, all right. So we don't have to worry about like a huge ambush, but I also don't know what Sabina Aloya's prowess would be as far as practicing occultism. So
I wouldn't say you don't have to worry about that. I wouldn't say that at all.
I mean, there could be Noctwolf buried like the Fremen out there.
What?
Yeah.
I just watched Dune 2 yesterday, Corey.
So, I think we're just going on by whatever might happen. Hamlin, there was already, I think, a question in the last chapter of Hamlin somehow retaining some of his consciousness because he wasn't showing the Nazis the correct place to dig for the shield, and we know he knew exactly where that was.
Right.
So I think there is still a question of loyalties, but yeah, I think we're just not stopping.
I mean, either way, I'm glad we spent 20 minutes on this.
Well, it is a good way for us to have caught up on a lot of
Oh, I've had a great time.
background.
Yeah.
Shut up.
The truck speeds past. You see Hamlin throw up his hand.
12 months.
Yeah. And Sven and Operly are in the back, and Sven does recognize Sabina Aloya in the car. He also sees the Noctwolf troopers getting up out of the sand like Fremen in the desert.
Oh, Jesus.
Easily a dozen of them with
shit.
heavy weapons.
shit.
I was totally going to bone you guys.
Lord.
Yeah, no. I'm tired of playing this game. I was just going to kill you all.
Ready to get to Cobra. He is.
Yeah, it was completely an ambush. Of course it was an ambush.
Right.
Sven reaches over and the bulb horn on the side just kind of as the car goes by.
You see Aloya throw something down, obviously cursing in Italian. And you, of course, drive until you reach Kenna, over an hour away. It is a very sleepy, rural town. There's a boarding house, a market, a bunch of goat herders and farmers. This is not a bustling metropolis. But in the hills, beyond the small village, really, you can see the great temple of Hathor amidst the cliffs. And this is definitely the place you saw in your vision in the well.
So here's a question before we proceed further. I'm trying to gauge how worried we need to be that they knew the route we were taking to get to our destination. How close is this temple to where the Nazis were digging in general, which is Amarna?
Can I roll to see if one of us is a double agent?
Yes, you can. It's the dog.
Shit, no!
So now remember, this is the 1930s, almost the 40s. It's not like there is an interstate in Egypt leading from Kenna to Cairo. So you would have gone on a long. It would not have been a straight drive.
Yeah, it was
is
a
what I'm
long,
saying.
winding.
Yeah, and
Right. And
lots
it's technically only 2 miles away, but the top speed of the truck, it's
so slow.
It took an hour.
What I'm saying is, like, even though they had set an ambush for you, you would have made so many road changes.
Okay,
and
so
probably
there's no reason to believe they knew where we were going.
No.
Okay.
No, none at all.
That's all I'm after.
If they knew where you were going, they'd probably be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they don't really care about you. They want the artifact.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they'd love to kill you, but you're not the priority.
Uh-huh. All right, so do we establish a kind of base camp somewhere in town, or do we try to head straight to the temple?
Let's go to the temple.
Sven is very excited about seeing the Egyptian underground.
Just a moment, fellas. I'm still thinking if we should pull over or not.
I do love the running joke that Sarah is so much dumber than Oprah.
I mean, all of us are, really.
Well,
That's true.
That's
Yeah,
really.
Sarah's just the muscle.
Yeah, they're pretty much Master Blaster.
So there's a boarding house, and there's farmers that I'm sure you could pay, and they would let you sleep in the barn.
Yeah. So we'll just head straight for the temple.
So you drive up to the temple. There, I mean, this is 1939. It's not like there's a in-depth security around archaeological sites in Egypt at this time. The closest you get is there's some grassy areas at the base of the hill where the temple is, and there's a farmer out there with goats, and he kind of watches you as you drive up.
Guys, should we stop to talk to the farmer? Now, we need to talk about this for a while.
Let's discuss it.
It's a Nazi officer with just like a blanket over his
The goats
uniform.
are strapped with C4.
One of the goats is a cyborg.
Bomb goat!
No, it's obviously a local indigenous farmer and is just feeding his goats.
We kind of wave to the farmer and hold up our shovels like, we're just going to go digging.
He waves back, and Operly knows that all the farmer's really thinking about right now is that he has to go poop.
I feel you, buddy.
So you guys set up a camp. Are you going inside the ruin? I'm assuming you brought tents and whatnot.
Yeah, I would imagine we scout the ruin a little bit and try to discern the layout of the temple. I'm sure it's not very complicated, but if there is a place where we can find relative shelter.
Oakley's got a pup tent. Dog joke.
Wait, I really think we need to know more about this farmer.
What are his hopes and dreams?
So there is immediately in the interior of the temple is called the Hypostyle Hall, which is a large room with columns that's still covered. There's plenty of space between the columns where you could set up camp. And as you move deeper into the temple, that's where you would go into the sanctuary. Though, of course, this is a ruin, but it's still, I mean, the Egyptians built for
I started to
the
say
long term.
they still had basic tenets of architecture. Like what I'm looking for is there to be this like big chamber up front, and then like these tiny
Antechambers?
like alcoves.
And Uncle Chambers.
Yeah. Beyond the hypostyle hall, there's a corridor and there's antechambers to the side. And then at the end is a sanctuary. And you recall in your vision, it seems like this is where the ground split open.
Okay.
Okay.
So then we can establish kind of a camp in just one of the alcoves.
Yeah, we could tell ghost stories.
So you make camp. It's hot. The wind is blowing fast through the columns. Plays tricks on the sound. Sun begins to fall. And we will end there.
The entrance we're looking for is not like a physical thing. We're going
Correct.
into like
It's a portal.
into a alternate world.
Basically, you're going to have an out-of-body experience.
Cool.
Yeah. In fact,
Yeah.
I imagine we wind up kind of investigating some hieroglyphs or something to see if there's something that kind of instructs us on how to reach a different kind of plane.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, I hope we discuss that for at least 30 minutes on the next episode.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is this episode of Achtung, Cthulhu,
Fun times.
Egypt.
I like it.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite games that we play regularly.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Same.
I love this one.
Thank you to all of our listeners, and a special thank you to our patrons. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we hope that we are worth the money.
Yep. We had quite a few patrons show up this episode.
Laura or Laura B. We had Bryce McLean, got a bar named after him.
Yep.
We got a little cameo from old Jamie Hamlin.
And Lori.
Hamlin may be the longest running recurring character aside from Operly.
Well, it's the longest running game, so yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, which Hamlin could be a villain. He could be a secret ally. You don't
we
know.
still don't know what's up with him.
Maybe if you'd hit him with the truck, you would have found out.
Yeah.
There was in my mind a scenario in which you just slam into him and into the car. And
Oh, I thought about it a lot. Just grabbing the wheel, jerking it.
oh, that would have been great.
As Operly.
Dog leaps in. My favorite, of course, Patreon NPC right now is Mossy Pete.
Yes.
Based on Patreon member Mossy P.
Yeah.
Yeah, curmudgeon.
God.
If you could have seen the disappointment on Kyle's face when we chose to not stop and help the people in the car.
It would have been a fun fight. You got a flamethrower. You would have been fine.
All right. Also, thank you to our sponsor, Barrel and Bond, 100 Broadway Street in beautiful downtown Paducah. It sits right there on the banks of the beautiful, odoriferous Ohio River.
If you're on your way to the bathroom, don't stop.
That's right.
For nothing.
And thanks to our partner, Norse Foundry. They make some of the best dice on the entire planet.
Some of the dice even made out of pieces of the planet.
Well, it's
I mean-
true.
I mean, aren't all dice really made out of pieces of the planet?
Yeah.
Everything is made out of pieces of the planet.
I guess unless you were using meteoric metal in your
Which
dice.
they might. Who knows? You don't know.
That'd
Check
be
them out
cool.
and see.
Yeah. And at checkout, use the discount code CHAM, CHAM, and you get 10% off. Bastardly.
That's NorseFoundry.com.
And thanks, as always, to all of our listeners that are out there, all the people that have given us feedback on social media and given reviews.
Except for Brent. Fucking asshole.
He used to be on the podcast before I was here.
No, that's right, yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm Kyle.
I'm Todd.
Corey.
I'm Austin.